Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City podcast, courtesy of Odyssey. Again, Josh Palet, Dave Palet, Mario Herron will join us in just a little bit, but joining us right now, we love having him on talking Charger football from the Sporting Tribune. It's Fernando Ramirez. Fernando, again, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for being generous the day after Thanksgiving. Chargers getting ready for a big game on Sunday, an important game as they take on the Arizona Cardinals. Before we start with Arizona, Fernando, I want to step back to Sunday night's game against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's 2 weeks now in a row where the Chargers were on Sunday Night Football. And one thing that stands out to me was in the second half against the 49ers, 0 points for the Chargers. Second half against the Chiefs, 7 points for the Chargers. As far as Los Angeles moving forward, what do they have to change to basically make adjustments, we said all year long after halftime?
Well, thank you guys for having me on. Josh, that was a great cup right there. That's a beautiful cup. I love it.
Thank you.
There you go. Exactly. You know what? It starts with coaching, really. I mean, you something's going on where they're not making second half adjustments. You've gone now against two of the top head coaches in the NFL, Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid. And both of them made second half adjustments. Why are the Chargers not making the same adjustments in the second half? Now, Brandon Staley said that there are two different scenarios of what happened. He said that obviously they had some injuries. They've had some other players that have gone down and everything, but he said that they're both two separate things and that they're going to get that fixed this weekend. Well, I think I saw a stat earlier last week that they have not scored a touchdown in the third quarter since they played Denver in week 6. So that's honestly, that's right there. You have to question something of what's going on. Why are they coming out flat in the second half, and why aren't they scoring? In that 4 or 5 game stretch where they went 3-1, their problem was they would start off late, or they would start the game off losing, and then they have to come back in the second half to win the games. Now it's like you're starting off fast, but you're not being able to finish the game. So something's going on. There's been too much. Of a roller coaster, and they need to be able to stop that. They need to be able to put consistent points on the board. If you saw what Kansas City did, Kansas City scored points in every single quarter in this game, and they've done that consistently this season. That's what you're trying to emulate. That's what you're trying to do. That's what the Chargers need to get up to. They need to be able to score points in every single quarter. 1, 2, you need to be able to score touchdowns instead of field goals, and that was their problem last Sunday as well.
So Mike Williams has been ruled out for this game against the Cardinals. Do you see the Chargers going with a heavy dosage of Keenan Allen, or do you think they'll mix it up with other receivers?
I think the emergence of Josh Palmer has really shown that the Chargers can trust him a lot more now. I mean, the last few games, he's had strong games, and I was impressed with him against Atlanta. I was sort of impressed against San Francisco, but really the game against the Chiefs, I was very impressed. 8 catches, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And the way he's doing it, he's moving across the field. He's doing drag routes, out routes, in route. Like, he's showing off his route running tree, and you're seeing the way he's playing, and you're like, okay, you have to be impressed with the way he's playing. So I think they'll lean on both Keenan and him. But again, you have to lean on Austin Eckler a little bit more, run the football. I want to see a little bit more Isaiah Spiller as well. Run the football more with him. Try and see what he's got. I mean, right now, and I said it, this is a must-win game this weekend. If you really want to stay in this playoff hunt, with New England losing yesterday or on Thursday, if the Jets lose this weekend as well, you're right there in. If you win, you're in there. So they need to be able to win this game this weekend and really stay afloat. Especially, like I told you guys, they have the Raiders after that. They go to the Raiders. That's going to be a tough game. Then you have Miami and Tennessee coming in. You're going to have to at least split one of those 2 games. So it's a tough road coming up, but I think this weekend for sure is a must win.
Fernando, you mentioned Austin Eckler. When you look at Austin Eckler, he didn't play his normal amount the way he did against KC. It seemed like a lot of times in crucial situations he wasn't on the field. Is there anything going on with Eckler? Because we haven't heard anything.
No. They say that Austin's fine. It's just that they want to see what happens with different guys in different situations. That's the way they've kind of put it to us. But that's basically what they're going with. That they're trying to see different guys in different situations. Obviously, Isaiah Spiller is one of those young guys that you want to see kind of what he has. He's ran the ball okay. I just would rather see him run the ball a little bit more and do it in different ways. So, but no, they said that Austin Eckler's fine. If anything, I think they're trying to limit how many hits he takes. Because last year last year around December, that's when Austin started slowing down a lot after I think he scored his 20 touchdowns and everything on that last game against the Raiders. But I remember right around December he started slowing down because of all the heavy running that he had done in the first 3/4 of the season. So I think they're trying to save him a little bit to try and limit his snaps and not make him run as much, and maybe let other guys take some of those snaps.
Nasir Adderley is also ruled out for this game, and Michael Davis is questionable. Obviously, the Cardinals' best player is DeAndre Hopkins. From a defensive game plan scheme, would you expect Asante Samuel Jr. to follow DeAndre Hopkins around the field, and how confident are you in that matchup?
Well, if Michael Davis were to play, I think you'd see a little bit more Michael Davis just because of his height and everything. But yeah, I think Asante, it's funny, Asante, he'll give up a play or two or even three, but he's going to get one back. He'll do some stuff to really fire it up. I think what Asante really does well, he trash talks. So he gets into the other player's head and they start going back and forth. And that's what you saw remember, Devontae Adams had a good game against the Chargers until the end when Asante was jawing at him and he was starting to really get in his head, and then he was making plays. So I think that's kind of what Asante likes to do, kind of like exactly like his dad. His dad used to do the exact same thing. So I really think that Asante will do okay, but they're going to need to give him help. You can't just let Asante be on an island with DeAndre. You're going to have to give him a little bit of help, especially because I don't think Asante's there yet. I think he's close, but I don't think he's there yet where he can take on the number one. You can leave him there the whole game and be like, hey, you do it. So I think they're going to throw some help at him. And then I think Marquise Brown is coming back this weekend as well. So the Chargers are going to need to be on their P's and Q's because that kid can fly.
All right, so you look at the situation. Kyler Murray's coming back. You mentioned Marquise Brown's back. You mentioned DeAndre Hopkins, as we know, has come back after his suspension. The Cardinals are going to be pretty much as good as they can possibly be. The Chargers, as we know, have banged up injuries, starting with Mike Williams. For me, this is an important game for the future of the Chargers, and I don't know which way he's looking at it, but this is the Sean Payton game to me. This is the two jobs you're hearing Sean Payton is interested in, the Arizona job and the Charger job. And I don't think it would surprise anybody, but he said he's looking for a team that has a quarterback that you can build around. So you're looking at those two jobs. I know you cover the Chargers, but when you look at Arizona's situation, you look at the Chargers situation, if you're Sean Payton, which job is more appetizing to you?
I mean, I'm not a big Kyler Murray guy. I don't like some of the things that Kyler Murray's done, like going up into his coach's face, yelling at him, getting into that shouting match with DeAndre Hopkins. Some of the things I don't like about Kyler. I like Justin Herbert, but then you look at the organizations, they're very similar. Now, my question is, if I'm Sean Payton, will I have full control of what I'm going to do? That's my number one question. But, I mean, if I was him, I definitely the Chargers just because of Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert is a generational talent. I think the guy's really good. I know Emmanuel Acho just keeps on picking a fight with Justin. If I was Justin, I would show up to FS1 Studios and be like, here, dude, get one, get two. There you go. I'm out. See you later. Keep it moving. How you doing? But no, I really do think that the Chargers job would be interesting just because you have Derwin James, you have Keenan Allen, you have Justin Herbert, you have pieces. But I would just that's the job that I would want if I was him. But I'd be surprised if the Chargers decided to go for Sean Payton in the offseason.
To step away from this matchup for a second, do you have any updates on Rashawn Slater or Joey Bosa or any of these guys on the injury list that they might come back sooner than later?
Joey Bosa, it sounds like he's doesn't sound like he's going to be coming back until. I mean, I don't even know because we keep on asking Brandon, and Brandon says, "Oh, we'll give you an update when he's back on the field." And it sounds like he hasn't even started working out yet or doing anything like that. So it sounds like he may be a little bit more towards the middle of December, maybe towards the end. Who knows? But Rashawn Slater also, yeah, they haven't really given us an update on either one. And the Chargers Brandon Staley is pretty good on telling us, "Oh yeah, Joey's starting to work out now. He's starting to do like they told us, oh, Keenan Allen is starting to work out. He's starting to do stuff." But with those two guys, they haven't told us anything. So I'm pretty sure neither one of them has started to kind of rev it up and come back. But to be honest, I mean, I know Rashawn Slater's great and everything. Jamari Salyer has actually been pretty good. He hasn't allowed a sack this year. He's actually been a solid contributor for the Chargers. So that's a rare sixth-round gem that the Chargers have found. And I wouldn't be surprised if they moved him to right tackle next year and had Rashawn on the left-hand side. And they're right there. you've built a great offensive line. Corey Linsley, Zion Johnson, Jameer Salyer. I don't know if they'd keep Matt Filer or not. He's kind of had a down year. And then obviously Rashawn Slater on your left-hand side. My voice is very raspy. I am so sorry.
You're fine. You're absolutely fine. When you look at this team right now, 5-5, do you look at the schedule and go, I do think they make the playoffs? What's your feeling on this team? Because the record's worse than I think all of us thought they would have right now at this point in the season.
Well, I mean, a lot of us thought that J.C. Jackson would be having an all-pro season probably. Joey Bosa and Khalil. I had said at the beginning of the season the Chargers would lead the league in strip sacks because I thought Khalil Mack and Joey would be. You know, it's funny. Khalil Mack has actually impressed me a lot more than what I thought he'd be good. I didn't think he was going to be this good. He's been very good. I think this weekend he's going to have a big game against Arizona. But that 2-game stretch against Miami and against Tennessee is going to show. I think that's where I'm going to see the point of if they want it or if they don't want it. If they go 0-2 in that stretch, I don't see them making the playoffs. You have to at least split, if not go 2-0. And the Chargers have the pieces. They've shown. Look against Kansas City. The Chargers had a lot of injuries, and they still were able to almost take it to Kansas City. They were almost able to take it as the 49ers, but that's the problem. It's ands and ifs, and that's the problem with the Chargers. They need a knockout punch, and they still don't have one. And it's kind of like, okay, you need to develop that. If not, if you don't develop that killer instinct, you're not going to be able to finish off these games, and that's what it takes in the playoffs. You need a killer instinct, and they still have yet to develop a killer instinct, and I feel like that's kind of hurting them, and especially this season, late in games, they're getting hurt by the fact that they're not able to put teams away.
Do you think it's hurt Justin Herbert that he's so quiet? If you were in his position, you'd be more demanding, asking for other pieces, just ask more of the organization in general, be more vocal?
I don't know, because I don't know how he is behind the scenes. That's the problem. We see one aspect of him, but we don't know what's behind closed doors. I mean, right now we could be saying that, but maybe Justin is telling these guys, hey, I need more help. I need this. I need that. And knowing his demeanor and how he is, probably not. But he's probably not like that. But you never know how a guy is. If I was him, though, I in the offseason, if the Chargers do sit me down and they ask me, what do you need? I need a tight end, and I need more weapons on this offense. I need at least 1 or 2 more tight ends. I need 1 or 2 more receivers. I need playmakers. I need guys that are going to put it down, and they're going to be with me, and they're going to be able to be skillful receivers. He needs a speedster. He needs somebody with speed, somebody who can attack down the field, somebody who can stretch the field, somebody who can take the top off the defense. And bringing back Jalen Guyton is not the answer. You need somebody who's going to be able to really take the top off of the defense and stretch the field to get other guys open. So that'd be on my Christmas wish list if I was Justin. But they really do need to kind of revamp this offense a little bit and kind of bring him some new weapons in, because it's kind of been some recycled past years receivers. They need kind of a new look moving forward, because I think Justin with speed receivers could really do some wonders and take this offense to that next level.
It's a fine line between quarterbacks and what you're going to get. Like, you don't want an Aaron Rodgers guy who's just killing the organization and asking for the coach to be fired, but at the same time, you want someone that
allegedly
cares. Yes, that feels like he cares a little bit more, because the fans care, and the fans are obviously loving what Justin Herbert is. The problem is right now, let's be honest, he's a 500 quarterback. He hasn't made the postseason. If he's on pace again and doesn't make the postseason, what is he really? No matter how much we all might like him, you have to sit there and go, you are what your record says you are.
He cares, though. I mean, I saw him on Sunday, and I walked in the locker room, and I see everybody else getting ready, getting dressed, and I see him, and he's just sitting there kind of like this, like looking out, and he's beside himself. And I don't know if it's, holy crap, like, why do we keep on failing, or why can't we move forward, or I don't know what it is, but he just has this look in his face. Like, I can see the fire in his eyes. I can see the anger in his eyes, not anger at the organization, not anger that they're not able to put these teams away. And I say that's why he is the kind of quarterback that he is. He has that anger. He has that desire. The thing is, you need guys around you. And I'm not saying that the guys don't have it, but you need guys that are like-minded. Tom Brady had dogs on his team. Julian Edelman was a dog. Rob Gronkowski, dog. Like, he's always had guys around him that had that same mentality as him. Like, I remember one year they were like, oh, Tom Brady, A guy's like, Trayton Brown was like, I didn't make the Pro Bowl. Tom Brady's like, you care about the Pro. We don't do this for the Pro Bowl. We do this to win championships. That's, in my opinion, what Justin Herbert is. And you need guys like that around him that have that same goal. I'm not saying, again, that there's not guys around him. I'm just saying you need a team that has the same mentality. And you do have it. You have it with Derwin and you have it with Justin. Does the rest of the team have it? That's what the Chargers need to do. That's what the Chargers need to analyze and make sure that they do have around them, because if not, you're just wasting the careers of Justin Herbert and Derwin James.
Fernando, real quick, final score prediction. What happened Sunday?
Oh, shoot.
That's not
you know
good.
what? I'll say Derwin has 2 sacks. I'll say Khalil Mack has a hat trick. And I'll say the Chargers end up pulling it out. I'll say 31-27. Chargers pull it out at the end, and but it's a high-scoring game just because I think Kyler Murray's gonna put down the Call of Duty. He'll have an okay game, and then but I think the Chargers at the end will pull it out. I think it's gonna be a high-scoring game.
Fernando, once again, man, thank you so much. Appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. And again, happy holidays to everybody. And again, thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. You too, buddy. You too. That's Fernando Ramirez again from the Sporting Tribune. Does a great job covering the Chargers. He's there at the practices. He's there in the locker room. And, of course, there after games. You know, he said one of the things, Josh, that was interesting. I know Mario is going to join us in just a second. But when he talked about looking around the locker room, and I understand when you're looking around the locker room after a loss and you're like, we're in this together. At the same time, he dropped, Joey Bosa's name earlier. You look around the locker room, guess who's not there? A guy like Joey Bosa is not there, right? And when you're hearing stories that we don't know when he's coming back, man, this has gone exactly the way I thought it was going to go. I'm not saying Joey's faking injuries. He's not healthy enough to come back in any of that stuff. I'm not ever questioning anybody on injury. I'm just saying, for me, being around that team, and I've covered that team plenty of times in that locker room when Joey did play, and watching him in person over and over again, and I talked about this before he was hurt, how he pulls himself out of crucial plays, that depending on the record is when we're going to see Joey Bosa. Meaning if they're out of it, you are not going to see Joey Bosa. They have a losing record and see Joey Bosa. They're 500 right now. You don't hear anything about Joey Bosa. If this team right now had 8 wins, you'd be hearing about Joey Bosa coming back soon. That's my gut feeling.
I don't disagree with you. I think Joey Bosa being out for this amount of time isn't shocking to anybody. But him not being on the field in these games that we have to win are killing us. We absolutely need Joey Bosa for all these games, and him not being there against Kyler Murray, a quarterback that can run around, is huge.
Yeah, I completely agree. A part of me is hanging on to the fact that maybe like Staley's, doing like the really smart one step ahead coaching move of like, yeah, he's actually a lot farther ahead of schedule. He just doesn't want to lose it to the media. But history would also tell us that that's probably a lie. So we're at this uncomfortable spot with Bosa. But even with that, I think the Chargers have a great opportunity this weekend to really smack the Cardinals in the mouth and to really keep their season alive, especially a team that's, just couldn't have worser things happen to them. I'm excited for the Chargers this weekend, big time.
I think it's a really good opponent. I look at the Chargers, I understand they're 5-5. I've never felt once the Chargers have thrown the towel in. When I watch the Cardinals play, I feel like they've thrown the towel in. I almost felt like that happened before the season began with all the problems with Kyler Murray. I've never seen a guy get his dream contract and still be upset. And that's exactly what happened to him. He's a distraction. He's one of those guys, if I was a Cardinal fan, would say, you need a head coach that is going to come in here and take control of the team, and it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Kind of what Andy Reid is to Mahomes. And Mahomes isn't a problem, but everybody knows it's Andy Reid's locker room. It doesn't matter how much money you make or how famous you are. I'd much rather be on the Chargers side than the Cardinals side going in this game. I think it's a great situation. I understand they're healthier than the Chargers are, but I think this is a good game for the Chargers to get back on track.
Watching the Cardinals play on Monday Night Football, it looked like they quit. The 49ers might be the best team in the NFL. They're that good, but the Cardinals look like they could be the worst team at the same time. Kyler Murray coming back is huge for them. I think he's one of the most overrated players in the NFL. I really do. People talk about Kyler Murray being a top 10 quarterback. I don't see it that way. DeAndre Hopkins is an absolute difference maker. I still think he's in the conversation for best receiver in the league. But that team, from a leadership perspective, and they're just dysfunctional, man. Even before the season started, like you said, it seemed like everything was just going wrong and has gotten worse. I could see the Chargers win this game by multiple scores because they just looked that bad recently.
I completely agree. And, you guys called Kyler Murray early in the year the most overrated quarterback. I think that couldn't be more accurate right now. Look at his receiving core and look at what the GM has done for the Cardinals. Went and got Zach Ertz. Is he on the, closer to retirement? Yeah, a little bit out of his prime, but still a solid tight end. They got Hollywood Brown. They got Rondo Moore, pretty good wideout in his second year from Purdue. And they got DeAndre Hopkins. You know how many quarterbacks would kill for just those three as their receivers?
Robbie Anderson as well.
Yes, Robbie Anderson. Like, that is a really talented receiving core, and Murray's not putting up the numbers and he's not getting the W's in that spot. I mean, could you imagine if just Herbert had that receiving core? If Lamar Jackson had that receiving core? Lamar Jackson would have to run the whole time. There's so many quarterbacks I'd pray to be in that position with that receiving group like Kyle Murray has, and it's just simply not producing. I think it all falls on the shoulders of Cliff Kingsbury being just an offensive college mind coach and got severely lucky to get that position. But I look at this team and, like I said, they're defeated. And I think it hurts them even more that they're on Hard Knocks. Now it's on a bigger scale because everyone gets to watch it as you fall apart. So I think that's something that I kind of counted in too, is like, not only are you guys breaking apart, but there's a media crew getting every detail of it and putting it up and praying for you to do this more so they can get better content. Like, it's just a bad situation in Arizona. I feel bad for everyone there.
I don't feel bad for those guys at all. I mean, it's really funny how certain organizations, there's an old saying how a fish stinks from the head down. And you look at the Bidwell family and you go, man, all the way back to 1947, the Cardinals have been a disaster, no matter where they were, whether they were in St. Louis or they're in Arizona. It's been really bad. They had a couple of really good years when you had Kurt Warner and Larry Fitzgerald, and they made that run for the Super Bowl. But otherwise, they've always been one of the jokes of the NFL. So embarrassing to the point where you're like, maybe you should change your name and change your team colors. Just this year alone, you had the GM with the DUI. You had two coaches already released because of that he couldn't behave. I mean, you had one that got fired in Mexico. Just this week. It's so insane of what happens to that organization. I know the owner's never going to go, I'm not going to sell the team. I'm bad luck. My whole family's bad luck. They're not going to do that. But you literally look at that situation right now that you have that franchise quarterback, and you got to start making changes. You got to literally clean that entire coaching staff, starting with the head coach, and start brand new in hopes that with all the talent you guys just mentioned, that this team should be a contender, not only in the NFC West, but for a chance to win the NFC Championship.
Absolutely. Mario, looking at this game, the Cardinals are 31st in points allowed, 24th in yards allowed, 13th in run defense, 23rd in pass defense. Overall, their defense just is not very good. If you were the Chargers, what would you do going in this game? Who would you target the most?
I'm going to have a field day with Joshua Palmer again. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And then when I really, really need a big play in a certain moment, I'm going to feed Keenan Allen. But I'm going to go right at, again, with Palmer. I'm going to keep building his confidence up, keep riding him, ride the hot hand. Look, this Cardinals defense can't stop anyone. 23rd in passing defense, like you said, they give the most points allowed. They're down right now. They don't look good. I would do that all day long. And I'd also get Eckler involved a lot more than I did this past weekend against the Chiefs. That still doesn't – I understand the amount of hits he's taken and the amount of just reps and touches that we've put on him. But it just doesn't make sense to me why you wouldn't ramp that up just a little bit more in a rival game. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. It's weird that you chose that moment to have that little strategy plan. So I think in this game, I'd be like, yeah, Eckler, whatever bumps and bruises we cured, probably going to feel them again on Tuesday because we're going to feed you a crap ton and we're going to really pound this Cardinals team. Because these are two teams that haven't really beat anyone relevant. Like they're kind of sitting in that spot a little bit. So if the Cardinals can pound them, let's do it.
Hold on, I want to stop right there on what you just said, because Fernando said it to us earlier in the show that the Chargers are trying to give Austin Eckler a little bit of a break because he started to slow down in December a year ago. And this is the NFL. This is all you have. You're 5-5. What do you mean you're going to give them a break? You're 5-4 going into the game against the Chiefs. Well, you need everything you have, all hands on deck. And to sit there and go, this is the game we're going to rest Eckler against the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football? Unless he's injured, what the hell? What are you talking about? I mean, if I'm Brandon Staley, dude, I'm coaching for my job. He's wearing a uniform. He says he's healthy. I am not pulling him out of the game unless he tells me he needs to come out of the game. I did not understand that at all. Again, the old saying is you can't coach for the future because there's no guarantee you're going to be here in the future. So what is happening? I didn't understand that. I mean, I watched the game with Josh last Sunday, and we're sitting there looking at each other. He must be hurt. And then you find out he's not hurt. We're just saving him for December. Are you kidding me right now? The ship is sinking. There's water pouring in, and we're going to take number 30 out of the game over and over again. It made zero sense. One of those things, again, why I'm so frustrated with this entire coaching staff with the Chargers.
Man, this is a tough one for me because the Chargers should have done a better job giving him somebody else to help him out. Isaiah Spiller is a good player, but he's a rookie. I would have liked for them to make another move to have a decent running back, a guy that not like Sony Michel that's on the back nine, somebody else that could be really productive, like an Eno Benjamin who got cut by the Cardinals, somebody like that. You saw what the Dolphins did with Raheem Mostert. They brought in Jeff Wilson, his buddy, to help him out. Look how good the Cardinals look with two running backs. You really can't be a competitive team in the NFL without two really good running backs, just like you can't be a competitive team in the NFL without two really good tight ends. And we have like half of one in Gerald Everett, who's there sometimes when he is. He like has brain farts. Trey McKitty's not getting it done either. We don't really talk about him much because he doesn't do much. But Fernando hit it right on the head. The Chargers are really missing about two key players on the offense to help out guys like Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler because we just don't have them to rely on.
Yeah, and it's just like a frustrating thing. And, like we said, we saw kind of this revival in this introduction to Joshua Palmer, last Sunday. And it's like, if he's this good and this talented, why weren't we scheming this up earlier? Yes, does it matter that Keenan Allen was out there where that takes pressure off him? Absolutely. But the thing is why weren't we drawing up more plays for him instead of these plays for Eckler where we're taking these hits and now we're in this weird situation where we want to pull him back? It is very confusing. It doesn't make any sense. But in this matchup, what I'm also just very, very excited for is that the Chargers are good on the road. And the Cardinals are terrible at home. Cardinals are 1-4 at home. Chargers are 3-2 on the road, which doesn't sound great. But if you want a little bit more upside to that, a gambler would say, I don't know who would be the gambler, maybe Dave in this situation, that they are 5-0 against the spread on the road. So you kind of have that little pivot to it where like, okay, they're competing in every single game on the road. So that's just something to like watch out for. Something I find interesting is that this is a Cardinals team that does not do well on the road. And if they play a pretty explosive offense, they kind of get their doors blown off. 44 to the Chiefs, 20 to the Eagles early in the year. So if you want to count that. Vikings 34, Niners 38. The Chargers still have a pretty explosive offense. We should be able to exploit that all day long on Sunday.
I don't know about you guys, but I started looking at schedules and going, obviously, if you aren't in the playoffs right now, who do you face or who do the other teams face that have to start losing games? And it's a tough week, and I know we're going to get into our predictions, but, you look at Cincinnati and Tennessee, and you look at Miami, which is a team you need to lose. Well, unfortunately, they're playing the Texans, and you're going down the line, and you're going, man, there's just not a lot of help where you can gain ground this week. That's why it's important to win this game. This game is very important for the Chargers just to stay in it. Even with the Patriots losing, they fall to 6-5 yesterday on Thanksgiving Day. So it is tough. This is one of those where you just have to win to stay above water, but you really aren't looking around to say we're going to gain ground this week in the standings as far as making a way into that playoff picture. It is in a bad situation to be in. 5-5 is a bad spot to be in. You got yourself into this mess. You got to get yourself out of this if you're the Chargers, and you got to keep winning the games. I agree with what Fernando said, and he said exactly what the three of us have said on the show. That Tennessee-Miami matchup back-to-back weeks is going to be one where the Chargers, need to pull out one of these wins. It would be a shame to see their season basically come to an end at the very beginning of December.
Well, we talked about it earlier. The Chargers went through their easy part of the schedule and didn't handle business. Now you got to face the music. We're playing teams that, like you said, are not easy wins whatsoever. I could totally see this going one of two ways. Either the Chargers have a miraculous second half, Mike Williams comes back, and we see who the Chargers we thought they were, or it goes the other direction where we just get killed, dude, in some of these games where we have to go against Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor and Tua and Jalen Waddle. I don't know, man. This is what Fernando said. You got to really kind of man up here and see what you're made of. But I don't really know what we're made of when we have one guy on defense that shows up in Derwin James, and it seems like it's just Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler on the offense consistently. If Keenan Allen gets hurt again, I think this season's over. I think we got to just rely on the guys that are there. But what about the other guys too, man? Drew Tranquil plays well, but he's playing above his head. I need guys like Kenneth Murray to step up, and Nasir Adderley if he gets out on the field. Those are how you win these games, man. You need the other guys to do something.
Yeah, I think that's also a big word for me too. The last part he says Adderley. The fact that he's not playing this weekend is that the Cardinals suck, but they still have a lot of threats. Like I said, at receiver, dude, that could burn us a little bit. Like that could be an easy 28 that they could hang on us, and that would make one I was gonna say punch myself in the face, but I've already done that. Like spit in my own face or something. So like, dude, this is ridiculous. Cliff Kingsbury's hanging 28 on us, and like you said, it's not gonna get any easier. Like, yeah, we're gonna have bumps and bruises, and other teams will too. But like, Vrabel has this thing in Tennessee where the more guys he loses, it's like he somehow gets better.
Yep.
It's like really, really annoying. It's not like he has a backup. It's not like, he's the Georgia of NFL where like his backup should be a starter for the Rams right now. No, the backup's usually not very good, but they're just know exactly where to be because they've coached throughout the week on it. That's a game I'm honestly just a little bit more worried for just because matchup wise, I hate how we match up with them. So yeah, games like this have to be a win. It have to be a big win to get guys, I don't know, some guys on FS1, I don't know who they are, to shut their mouth a little bit and put a little respect on the Chargers' name and for them to be at the point that they should be at where we said before the season started.
So people will say often in pro sports that it's, the players win, coaches lose, no matter what. That's just the way it goes. You mentioned Tennessee. Tennessee is a team, obviously, I pay attention to. Josh lives in Nashville. My dad used to be a Titans season ticket holder. And so I've always paid attention to see what they do. I'm always amazed by what Vrabel's doing right now because he gets the most out of his guys. Honestly, they said before the season started, they had the worst roster in the NFL outside of Derrick Henry. They lost all their receivers. The draft wasn't impressive, but yet they seem to play at such a high level all the time. I don't think there's a team in the NFL that says, I want to play the Titans. I want the Chargers to be that team. Drew Tranquil is a guy that you just said a second ago that he's playing over his head. On most solid teams, like I'm talking Super Bowl teams, he's not a starter. He's a guy that 100% is given everything he has, everything he possibly has in his ability to play extremely well. There's so many other guys on this roster that do frustrate me because you expect more. Either we saw them in college or we saw how high they were drafted, and you're going, man, how come a guy like Kenneth Murray isn't better than what he is? So does that go back to a guy like Tom Telesco for drafting a guy that he made a mistake on, or does that go down to the head coach and Staley saying he's not getting the most out of these guys? I mean, you guys ran through the tight ends going, he doesn't have a tight end, meaning Justin Herbert, to throw to. Whether it's injury or backups, you talk about not stepping up. The guys who come in for the guys who are injured, for the most part, are not stepping up. Only a few of the guys, and they're on the offensive line, are the ones that have replaced guys who have gone down with injury that have done a surprising good job. Everyone else has been basically a disappointment.
It lands on the coach. I mean, players got to take accountability for not playing up to their standard, but also comes down to the coach. You mentioned Mike Vrabel. That Titans roster has to be bottom 5 of the NFL. They're absolutely awful from a talent perspective. Same with the New England Patriots. I don't know if anybody watched that game last night. Who the hell's on that football team? There's not many guys on the team you would recognize, and they played toe-to-toe with the Vikings last night. So it does come down to the head coach. He has to bring the most out of his players. People are saying the same thing about Cliff Kingsbury. They have really talented players on that Cardinals team. It doesn't seem like he's getting the most out of them either. And talking about this game also, we need to touch on this. The Cardinals have one of the most overrated players in Kyler Murray. They have one of the most underrated players in Budda Baker on defense. Chargers need to stay away from that guy. I mean, that's the one guy on the defense that I look at that can wreck the game for us. If we stay away from Budda Baker, I think we're in a good position, but you got to get the most out of these players. Trey McKitty, every time he gets in the game, he either drops a pass or has a dumb penalty. Things like that don't happen on good teams. So looking into next year, I'd like to see the Chargers make a change, bringing in some other players that are reliable because we haven't had a reliable tight end since Antonio Gates.
Yeah, Budda Baker's their Derwin James. He's everyone on the field. When you watch the Hard Knocks, like, can someone please just outwork Budda Baker, beat him to the ball, or do something like that? He's the only one I'm kind of scared of and just getting that team just going. I would say Watt too, but Watt's just still a good player, but just kind of, he's a little older now where he's going to give you his all every play, but it's going to like really matter, like 1 of 12 plays. He's with that robot arm he has now.
Okay.
Like, that's a weapon.
Hey, let's stop right there. What's the deal with the brace on the elbow? He's had it for like 10 years. Like, dude, how long is it going to take for your elbow to heal? Enough already. Take the brace
bad
off.
Doctor.
Come on. What? Take the brace off, JJ. It's insane.
Or
drives me crazy.
Or his heart thing when like he was there, like, he was like gonna die and just comes back and plays like 2 days later. Like, football is good and all, but you got money now. Like, you can afford to sit out a little bit. Like, come on, man.
Red
like,
light
watch
JJ.
yourself a little bit.
Loves
I love
the
JJ.
camera. I don't. I don't. When the Texans are on Hard Knocks, look who's coming out at 2 a.m. to get some extra work. All right, red light JJ. Enough. I'm not a JJ fan. I think he's all about the camera.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Russell Wilson.
As Josh points out all the time, the Chargers got the worst Watt brother. They got Derek Watt, because we couldn't even get TJ. We got the worst Watt brother. That's what we do. Damn it.
Well, they do. They said that about all the brothers we get. The Watts, the Gronkowskis.
Bosa's. Yeah, we had Gronkowski's brother. Stunk.
The Pounceys. They said we always get a second.
Yeah, it's true. He's right. We got the bad Pouncey. Yeah. Damn.
All right. Go score prediction. How do you so stupid. Score prediction. How do you see what?
Do you want to go through all the games or you want to go score right now? You all fired up?
I want to go through this because I want to talk about some other teams. Go score prediction. Start with you, Mario. How do you see this one playing out?
I'm going to go 35-21 Chargers.
I like it. You got players of the game, offense and defense?
Player of the game. Let's think. Give me a second. I don't know why I was just thrown off by that because I had like 4 names in my head and they all just went blank right there. I think. Oh my God, this is so.
Stick with your guns. You said Josh Palmer. Stick with it.
Yeah.
No. All right. Fine. I'll say Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer. Touchdown over. He needs over 100 receiving yards and a touchdown. I think he can get that pretty easy.
Okay, I like that. What about defense?
Defensively, give me Mac. Let's be in Kyle Murray's face all day. Force him to throw over the middle where he can't see. Put a little pressure on him. Make the little guy scared.
Yeah, make the little guy scared. I like that. Okay. What about you, Dave? What do you got?
I tell you what, he took my guys, but I'm going to go a different direction. I don't want to pick the same guys he picked. I told you I'll stay away from Derwin James the rest of the year after both of you guys screamed at me. I'm going Keenan Allen. I'm going Asante Samuel Jr., so I'm going for. But I will never pick Derwin James again since you guys completely berated me right here on the show last week.
Oh, that's great. What's the score prediction?
27-24. The 2 touchdown victory scares me. I think that's a lot.
Why do you think it's going to be so close?
Because I think the Chargers are hurt by injuries, and I think the Cardinals are as healthy as they're going to be. I think this is the Cardinals' best chance to put on a good show. And when you have a guy come back, whether it's a Brown or Kyler Murray, and Murray's missed the last couple of games, that there's a little bit of energy right there. It's a home game. I just have a feeling it's going to be a closer game than it is. And Chargers pulled this one out 27-24.
All right. I'm going to go score prediction. I'm going to go 35-27. I think the Chargers put up a lot of points. Both teams' defenses have struggled a little bit. Actually, Chargers defense hasn't been that bad. They just played against really good teams. And they've actually played pretty well. I think that maybe I'll go bigger win. Go 35-21 Chargers. What?
That's what I said.
Wrong.
That's what Derek Jeter says. Losers. That's what losers say. Chargers defense hasn't been that bad. Come on.
Okay, dude. Besides Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, they didn't play that bad against Travis. I mean, he was the one guy, dude. Like that, they were good against the other guys.
Yeah.
Do you think they were that bad against the Chiefs? Be honest.
No, I don't. I think it was a game they should have won. I thought they should have pulled out the Niner game. I mean, they were leading that game. They lost that one 22-16. I mean, they gave up 20 points. They gave up 20 points to the Falcons. They gave up 23 to the Seahawks. 30 to the Browns.
NFL's a scoring league. You got to do the offense.
28 to the Browns.
Offense.
I got it. I understand. You have to outscore your opponents. But what I'm saying is the defense hasn't played that great. I just don't think there's a lot of talent on the defense. The offense to me is, I think if you went to a Charger practice, they went head to head. I think the Charger offense kills that Charger defense. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Again, do they try and I'm kind of curious in practice. Do they even stretch the field in practice ever? I don't know. I mean, holy cow.
I'll kind of agree with both because I think Chargers defense is not the best, but played the best it could against the Chiefs. Still can't stop the run for crap. But like our red zone defense, as soon as they get in the red zone, we're great.
Yeah.
But up until then, we're not the best.
The key is we're letting them in the red zone. That's the problem.
Oh, but hey, you get inside the 20, you're in trouble, buddy. You're in trouble. Yeah.
You know who the Chargers are? You ever play football with your friends in the park and it's like 2 passes for a first down?
Yeah.
The Chargers are that team. They sit there and just dunk it off like 6 inches apart to that guy to get the first down. You know what I mean? You really aren't moving the ball down the field. You're just like, hey man, get real close and you're just flipping it over here. First down. That was a foot. You threw the ball 1 foot. Damn it. Stretch the field.
Oh, dude, you're scaring my prediction. I'm still going to stick with 35-21. Mario nailed it. They're not a good defense. They're playing as best as they can. That's just
you
what
and
it
Mario
is.
have the same score? Is that what you guys have?
That's the same score.
Yeah, I'm going to go same score as Mario. We're on the same page here.
Yeah.
Offense. Dude, I hate to do this too, but I agree 100% with him. I'm going to go Josh Palmer. I think they're going to put everybody on Keenan Allen. They're not going to expect Josh Palmer to do it again. I'm going to go Josh Palmer on offense, and then defense go Drew Tranquil. I don't know if he's even in contention for like all pro or Pro Bowler, but like he's probably not. But he's been playing pretty good. I think he has a pretty good game here. He's had some really good games, so I think he has another one here. Those are my two guys. What about around the league? How do you guys see?
Tranquil's
what are you going to say, dude?
What? You're disgusted by me. Tranquil's that guy that's going to win Defensive Player of the Year at the Chargers' own banquet. You know what I mean? But no one else is going to know who he is. Hey, big heart, Defensive Player of the Year, Drew Tranquil, everybody.
Oh God,
he gives you his all. He plays hard. He plays hard.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a good player.
All right, we got. Let's talk about the division. We got the Broncos going to the Panthers. Mario, how do you see that one playing out?
About as ugly as it can get. I don't think there's anything that's going to be uglier than this game. I mean, so Sam Donald's getting the start. Big Sam back in the mix for them. Broncos. I mean, I was on a BetQL Daily today, and the serious discussion was, could he get fired if they lose this game? Could Hackett get fired? Like, would this be the final straw in it where he'd get fired? And I think it will be too. I look at it and I go, I really like, if you would have told me at the beginning of this year that the Broncos, let me find it. I think the spread was 2.5. If you would have told me it was minus 2.5, what I would have done, yeah. Wait, where did it go? Whatever, stupid line. Minus 1.5 now. If you would have told me that before this year, what I would have done is I would have taken my whole bank account, withdraw, flown to Vegas, and slide it all right there. And then I would hack every member of my family's bank account and throw it all in the same game and say, we don't need the lottery. We're about to become millionaires. That's exactly what I would have done. So the fact that they're in this situation right now, no matter what, they should be fired. I do think the Broncos are going to dominate them in this game just because Panthers just have absolutely nothing. And their talent's just pitiful. And they're on the third QB to start this year. I don't know about you, Dave, but I think I'd rather drink my nephew's throw up after he had Thanksgiving dinner than watch this full game.
Look, here's the deal. Outside of this game right here, which has to be the worst matchup of the year. I swear to God, this has to be the worst matchup of the year. The only matchup that would be worse if it was the Texans playing Carolina. This is a terrible matchup. Like Josh goofed on saying going to the Broncos-Titans game might be a terrible matchup. This is awful. I mean, this is straight out just terrible. I don't know if Hackett gets fired. To be a first-year head coach and not even make it to December is insane. You know what I mean? Especially with what you have and the disappointment that you have. I'm going Broncos win this game because I just don't think the Panthers have anything. Don't have anything at all. But I'm going Broncos cover this game.
I think Broncos win. My score prediction 9-6. By the way, Panthers have a damn good defense. They suck, but their defense, they're like the same exact team. Okay, move over to the Raiders at the Seahawks. Dave, how do you see that one going?
I think Seattle takes care of this, no problem. Seattle's going to win this game. No problem.
Like a score prediction? You think it'll be close?
Yeah, no, I think Seattle scores. I'll go high. I'll go Seattle 31, Raiders 17.
Okay, what about you, Mark?
I see this one being 21-10. I think Seattle's going to really run the ball a lot, kind of drain the clock a little bit. Raiders, I don't think they have any juice left. I think it's going to be it's going to be a game where, like, in red zone's never going to show it. And then, like, every game's going into, like, the fourth quarter. And you're like, oh, my God, the Raiders game's almost over. Like, I think it's going to be like that game where it's, like, it's going to fly by. Like, I don't expect – that's another game. If you have to watch that, I'm sorry. But I like the Seahawks in this one. I like them by double digits. I don't think Raiders have anything left.
Okay. I think the Seahawks win as well, but I think they pull it out in the fourth quarter. It's tight until the fourth quarter, and they kind of pulled away. All right, last one in the division, Mario, Rams at the Chiefs. What do you got there?
Wow. So Rams, the season couldn't have gone any worse. The line for this game's at Chiefs minus 16. They're a 16-point favorite. Money line for the Rams is plus 775. Yeah, it is that bad. Just with they're getting like high school guys to play on that O-line now, and they're on their third quarterback. Like, dude, this game it's going to be over by mid through the second quarter. If they keep
the national anthem,
yeah. Oh yeah, like if if McVay can honestly keep this game within 20, he coached an amazing game. Like, honestly, with the talent he has out there, he coached an amazing game. I mean, he's going to have his number one wideout's going to be Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson dips out of the year once you become a little bad. He's out of there. He's not powering through. So I think Chiefs will cover because it's just Rams are so bad. But shout out to McVay if he gets some less than 20. I think it's a great day for McVay, Dave. Great day.
It's funny. McVay is if he had not won the Super Bowl and didn't have the resume that he has, he'd be the guy getting fired at the end of the year. I mean, that's just how bad the Rams have been. Again, Stafford's not playing in this game. Kupp's not playing in this game. The Rams have no talent. A couple years ago, when they played on Monday Night Football at the LA Coliseum, it was arguably the best game in NFL history. Remember how high scoring that game going back and forth was so much fun to watch. Chiefs win this game 48-10. Chiefs blow them out.
Yeah, I'm similar on that score. It's going to be a huge blowout. Bryce Perkins, baby, from ACC to Arrowhead Stadium. That should be fun to watch. All right, we'll run through all the games this week. Dave, we'll start with you.
Well, how do we do last week?
How do we do?
Oh yeah, let me.
I think I'm proud of what I did. If I'm not mistaken, that's why I brought it up.
We went. Dave, you went 10-4. Josh, 9-5. I went 11-3. So
there you go.
Nice,
dude.
Nice job.
Good job.
You deserve a pay raise.
You see the AirPod go flying out?
Yeah, it's a tradition like any other.
Yeah. All right, let's fire through these games.
Yeah, where to start? We all started 3-0, by the way.
Yeah,
we all would have picked all three of these games last night, right? All right. So we'll start with you, Dave. Buccaneers at the Browns.
I'm gonna go I'm gonna go Buccaneers. I think Tom Brady coming off the divorce goes 3-0.
Nice. Bengals at the Titans.
Last game before Deshaun Watson, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Bengals Titans is an extremely tough game. That's the game right there to watch. Cincinnati took care of them in the playoffs last year. I like the way the Titans are playing. I like the way both teams are playing right now. I'm gonna go Titans. I'm gonna go Titans.
All right. Texans at the Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Bears at the Jets.
I'm going Jets. Shocking.
Falcons.
Yeah.
What's up?
That's a tough one. I'm gonna go Jets because I think Mario's gonna take the Bears.
All right. Falcons at the Commanders.
Gonna go Commanders. I like the way they're playing too.
Ravens at the Jaguars.
Ravens.
Saints at the 49ers.
49ers, easy.
Packers at the Eagles.
Eagles.
Steelers at the Colts.
Colts.
Okay. All right, Mario, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Buccaneers at the Browns.
Bucks.
Bengals at the Titans.
Dude, this is a game I want to bet on so bad because I know it's going to be a
Really?
great thrill. Oh, dude, the thrill in this game is your heart rate's going to be up and down. It's one of those, after the game's finished, if you win, you go, that's why we gamble. And if you lose, you go, that's why you don't. But also gamble responsibly. If you're going to gamble, go to betmgm.com and gamble there at the King of Sportsbooks. I'm going to go Bengals. Bengals this time of year, Titans got to lose at some point.
My gut's telling me Cincinnati too in that game. Yeah.
All right. Texans at the Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Bears at the Jets.
Jets.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
You want to change your pick?
Nah,
Dave?
I'll stay with it.
It's my gambling pick as well. I think I love Jets in this spot.
Okay.
It's huge.
Mike White, right? He's the quarterback for this game.
White.
Yep. All right. Falcons at the Commanders.
Commanders. I actually really enjoy watching the Commanders.
Ravens at the Jaguars.
Oh my god, I freaking hate the Ravens so much, but Ravens.
All right. Saints at the 49ers.
Niners.
Packers at the Eagles.
Eagles.
Steelers at the Colts.
Steelers.
Ooh, okay. All right. I'll pick mine real quick. I'm going to go Buccaneers, Titans, Dolphins, Bears,
Ooh.
Commanders, and then I'll skip through the AFC West. I'll go Ravens, 49ers, Eagles, Colts. So there you go. Those are my picks.
Best game of the schedule to me, guys, is that Cincinnati-Tennessee game. All right? It's the game.
Yeah, this is the weakest week
Or-
of the year, I think, matchup wise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
a lot of bad
completely agree.
matchups.
A lot of good
Mario,
ones. A lot of good ones on Thursday. Just not a lot left over.
Yeah, Mario, what's your tie of the week?
Oh, so it was actually already U.S. versus England. That was the
Oh,
tie of the week.
That's a good nail.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was at halftime. I saw the bet. USA was plus 500. England was still a heavy favorite. I can't remember what they were, and then the draw was plus 160. And I was sitting there, and I was like, "There's just, I mean, this is soccer. It's what they do. They draw. You know, it's disgusting. It's stupid. Take it, whatever. There's your pie." But for OT, I was looking today. I was trying to really figure out, like you said, Josh, I hate this like week of football. This is a terrible week of football. Like, I wanted so bad to be able to find one. Maybe the game will be 0-0 and go in overtime, and it's Broncos Panthers. So if you're gonna make one, it could be
That's a good one.
or
that is-
safety, 2 versus 2, 2 against 2, and they're going in
like
overtime. Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that one a lot. I like that one
Yeah.
a lot. All right. So look, we're going to be back again as soon as the game is over. The Chargers again need this win bad against Arizona to stay alive. Hopefully make a run at the playoffs, but it all starts on Sunday against the Cardinals. When the game is over, we're going to rejoin you. We're going to talk about what we saw and what changes need to be made, and hopefully we're complimenting these guys a lot. But again, for Josh Palet, Mario Herron, I'm Dave Palet. We'll see you in a couple days, everyone. Bolt City Podcast, courtesy of Odyssey. Thanks for listening.